All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, the Western Conference semis are here and they are set to be a dandy. As in one series, we're looking at the Denver Nuggets and Phoenix Suns squaring off with a spot in the Western Conference Finals on the line. Now, for the Suns, they are looking to keep this momentum going after they knocked off the Los Angeles Lakers in 6 games. And, you look at the Suns, this is their first time in the postseason in more than a decade. And, coming into this postseason jaunt for Phoenix, one of the big questions for me was whether or not that Devin Booker would be ready for the big stage of the NBA playoffs. He showed that in the series versus the Lakers, where he nearly averaged 30 points per contest. And, the same scoring prowess that we have seen Booker put on in the regular season, he was able to carry that over to the playoffs. So now that is something that the Nuggets are definitely going to have to be wary of when this series begins tonight. We saw DeAndre Ayton really step his game up and come up big on the boards versus the Lakers. And that's going to be important for Ayton again. Why? Because now he's going up against Nikola Jokic, who more than likely is going to be this season's MVP. And we saw what Jokic did to the Portland Trailblazers in the first round. They never had an answer for him, as he averaged 33 points along with 10 and a half boards. And it's going to be important for Ayton to stay on the floor and stay out of foul trouble, because if he's not there, Jokic is definitely off to the races. Veteran point guard Chris Paul, this guy gutted it through a shoulder injury in the first round versus the Lakers because he is so hungry to get that elusive NBA championship. And, that's going to be important because, he has that, he provides the Suns with that floor general. For Denver, they've been missing Jamal Murray. Last series versus Portland was the first time that you could see some glimpses of them really, really missing him. And a guy like Chris Paul, the veteran, is definitely going to look to take advantage of that. But for me, I look at it like this. You look at Nikola Jokic, and he's a one-man wrecking crew because he can affect the outcome of this series in so many different ways. And I know that there are going to be plenty of eyes for the Suns on Jokic. But if you focus too much on Jokic, I mean, there's definitely talent around him. You have the likes of Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Monty Morris, who really stepped his game up in that Portland series, and then Austin Rivers. But I'm definitely looking at Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon. Definitely, once again, like it was with the Portland series, Denver has the advantage in the front court. Not just with Jokic, but of course Porter Jr. and Gordon. And really, Porter Jr. has taken his game to another level this season, especially following the Jamal Murray injury. We talked about Monty Morris, another guy stepping up at the guard position for the Nuggets last series without Jamal Murray. And all of this is going to be very, very important. You look at both of these teams, they like to get up and down the court. They both can score in bunches. They both have the ability to go on long runs, like 15 to 20 point runs with their inside and outside games, especially with the outside games. And I mean, both Devin Booker and Nikola Jokic from the star level have the potential to put their respective teams on their backs. You look at two battle tested coaches and Monty Williams and Michael Malone, both good X and O's guys. Both guys know how to make adjustments. And for me, I really think this has the potential to be one of the better series of this year's NBA playoffs. Two very good teams. I look at Devin Booker. The bottom line is, if you're the Nuggets, you definitely want to make him work for those shots more than he did in the series versus the Lakers. And again, for the Suns, you've got to try to find a way to slow down Nikola Jokic. I think this has the makings of being a very good and interesting back and forth series right here. A lot of contrast. And if you're Denver, you got to the Western Conference Finals last year. There was a shot at you potentially meeting the Los Angeles Lakers again. That didn't happen. So now, you get the Phoenix Suns. And if you're the Phoenix Suns, you're upstart. I know that they were the 2 seed this year. They're upstart their game. But more importantly, on top of that, with the Suns, they want to try to keep that momentum going. Yes, the Lakers were the 7th seed, but it's still LeBron James. They were the defending NBA champions. and you definitely don't want to, rest on your laurels and just be happy with defeating the Los Angeles Lakers in a series. You want to try to find a way to build off of that and feed off of that. And I think this Suns team, led by Chris Paul, definitely wants to feed off of that because Chris Paul knows that the majority of his years in the NBA are in the rearview mirror. You don't get these opportunities that often. And for the Denver Nuggets, them getting so close to the NBA Finals last year in the playoff bubble and actually being the last team of the Final Four from last year's playoff bubble who actually got out of the first round. So, if you're the Nuggets, you definitely know how important it is. You cannot take this time for granted. It was a very difficult road to get back to this point, and they're looking to, build off of that and go even further. Like I said, Nikola Jokic more than likely is going to be MVP, and he's going to try to do what he has to do to put this team on his back once again. I think this is going to be a classic nip and tuck, back and forth series with a lot of ebbs and flows to it. I think it has the potential to go to distance. But with that said, I'm definitely going to give the edge to the Nuggets. I give them the advantage in the front court. I also give them the advantage with the depth, and I also give them the advantage with experience. Three big factors here, but nonetheless, this is still going to be a very good series. I think the stars will definitely produce. Jokic is definitely going to have his moments, as will Devin Booker. So if you are a basketball fan, just sit back and watch because I guarantee you're going to get your money's worth and then some in this classic Western Conference showdown. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you like what you saw and heard today, please feel free to hit the like button, and also please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. Take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.